On December 29th, 2021, something hit the roof of a house in Texarkana, Texas. Then another, and another. The homeowner stepped outside, expecting hail. What she found instead were fish, small silver fish covering her lawn. Her driveway, the streets, dead and dying, falling from the sky during an ordinary winter storm. Within hours, dozens of neighbors confirmed the same thing. Fish scattered across a 9-square-mile area of the city. The city of Texarkana's official Facebook page had to post an announcement. It's raining fish. This isn't a joke. Can it really rain fish from the sky? Not just in Texarkana, but anywhere? The answer is yes. And the story of how we know is stranger than you'd think. This phenomenon has a name. Scientists call it animal rain. But for most of human history, it didn't need a name. It just needed an explanation. The earliest written account comes from ancient Greece, 2nd century BC. A philosopher named Heraclite Lambus recorded reports of frog showers so intense that houses and roads were filled with them. He didn't offer a theory. He just documented what witnesses reported. Pliny the Elder, writing in Rome in 77 AD, mentioned rains of frogs and fish, but he was skeptical, suggesting they might have simply emerged from the ground after heavy rains. By medieval Europe, those events were being illustrated. A woodcut from 1355 showed frogs falling on a village, people covering their heads, looking up at the sky. That had broken its own rules. What's striking is the consistency. People across centuries and continents who had never heard each other's stories all reported the same thing. Sometimes animals fall from the sky during storms. Kansas City, 1873. A thunderstorm darkened. The air was falling frogs. The story makes it into Scientific American. Lubbock, Iowa, 1882. Frogs arrive frozen, encased in ice. A frog hailstorm, Providence, Rhode Island, May 15th, 1900. Small perch and pout swirl down onto neighborhood during a sudden storm. Skeptical newspaper editors displayed one of the fish in their window to prove it had actually happened. In 1947, a biologist named A.D. Mashkoff was in downtown Marksville, Louisiana. Then small fish began falling around him everywhere. He estimated 1 fish per square yard across multiple city blocks. He collected specimens, preserved them, sent them to museums. His account is meticulous, clinical. A scientist refusing to explain away what he'd seen with his own eyes. And then there's Lajamanu, a remote town in Australia's Northern Territory. In 2010, during a heavy downpour, hundreds of spangled perch fell from the sky, live fish, wiggling when they hit the ground. 2023, it happened again. Same species, same conditions. These aren't rumors. They're documented events, witnessed by hundreds, sometimes thousands of people at once. Fish preserved in jars. Photographs, security camera footages. The prevailing scientific theory is straightforward. Tornadoes and waterspouts, tornadoes, that form over water generate vortexes powerful enough to vacuum up small creatures, fish, frogs, lightweight animals. These get pulled into the funnel, carried aloft, sometimes for miles, and then dropped when the storm loses strength. It makes sense. A professor at Purdue noted he'd seen small ponds literally emptied by passing tornadoes. Waterspouts can generate winds exceeding 100 miles per hour. The theory accounts for patterns. Witnesses consistently report when animals fall, they're almost always one species, just fish or just frogs, usually of smaller size, which is exactly what you'd expect if a waterspout crossed a school of fish or a swarm of breeding frogs. Objects of similar weight would stay together in the air current, then fall in the same area. The Dubik frozen frog fits this too. A powerful thunderstorm updrafts can exceed 70 miles per hour, lifting small creatures into freezing altitudes where they become hailstones. It's a good theory, it's probably correct, but here's the problem. No one has ever actually witnessed it happen. Not the pickup, not a waterspout visibly pulling fish from a lake. The mechanism is plausible, even likely, but it remains unobserved. A researcher named Charles Fort spent his life collecting accounts of unexplained phenomena. By the early 1900s, he'd compiled 60,000 newspaper clippings of strange falls. He was fascinated by animal rain and skeptical of the waterspout explanation. Fort's objection was simple. Why only fish? Why only frogs? If a tornado picks up a pond, where's the mud? Where's the plants? Modern meteorologists respond that a waterspout over water would naturally entertain mostly water and swimming creatures as it moves and weakens. Heavier elements fall faster by the time it reaches land. What remains are the lightest objects falling into a concentrated area. Reasonable, but first question lingers, because the theory explains the mechanism without fully explaining the precision. When scientists examined the 2021 Texas fish fall more closely, something didn't fit. There was no tornado that day, no waterspouts, no weather system violent enough to lift fish. But there were cormorants, lots of them. Cormorants are fish-eating birds that gorge themselves, and when stressed by sudden storms, they regurgitate. The fish that fell on Texarkana showed signs of partial indigestion. They'd been inside something. The researchers' conclusion: a flock of cormorants caught in the storm vomited their meals mid-flight. The fish rained down across 9 square miles of city, not a waterspout, just stressed birds in bad timing. This matters because it reveals how careful we have to be with easy explanations. The waterspouts theory is compelling, and it fits most cases, but not all cases. And the ones it doesn't fit force us to look harder. Truth is, we still don't have the complete picture. We have theories that work most of the time. We have eyewitnesses accounts piling up, century after century. We have fish preserved in jars and photographs, but we don't have the moment itself captured, the exact mechanism, the irrefutable proof of fish being sucked up and released. What we have is the gap between what seems impossible and what clearly happens anyway. For most of human history, when fish fell from the sky, it meant something. In the book of Exodus, the plague of frogs was a divine punishment. Medieval Europeans saw frog rains as omens, alongside comets and eclipses. But not all interpretations were dark. In Honduras, fish had reportedly fallen from the sky during heavy rain over a century. The community doesn't see this as a strange or frightening phenomena. They see it as a miracle. Local legend credits a 19th century Spanish missionary named Father Jose Subirana. He prayed for days, asking God to provide food for the poor. A dark cloud appeared. Fish rained from the sky. The people were fed. Since 1998, they've held an annual festival to celebrate parades, churches' services, gratitude for what they believe is divine provision. Scientists have offered alternative explanations, but for the people of Yoro, the fish aren't a meteorologic curiosity. They're sacred. A similar story appeared in Islamic tradition. During World War II in Bahrain, people gathered in a mosque during famine to pray for food. A cloud formed over the sea. Fish began to fall. The community was fed. When fish fell in La Jamanu in 2010, a community elder called it a blessing from the Lord. In a place where water is scarce and survival is hard, fish falling from the sky isn't absurd. It's grace. When it happened in Texarkana in 2021, the city's social media response was bewildered. 2021 is pulling out of all the checks, same event, different meanings. Because we bring different frameworks, yes, under rare conditions, Powerful storms with the right dynamics in the right place, animals scooped up, carried aloft, released miles away. Sometimes stressed birds and unfortunate timing. Sometimes flooding that creates illusions of things falling when they're really just emerging. The mechanisms are mostly understood. The mystery is mostly solved, but mostly isn't completely. These events are rare enough that most people will never see one, but common enough that they keep happening, documented enough that we can't dismiss them. They sit in the space between the explainable and the inexplicable, where science offers good answers that don't fully satisfy. The next time it rains fish somewhere, scientists will study it. Believers will interpret it. Social media will amplify it. All of us will stop for a moment and remember how strange it is that we live on a planet where this can happen at all, where the sky occasionally forgets what it's supposed to do, where rain is usually just rain, until sometimes it isn't.